Hey hookers, welcome back to Inspired by a Smile. My name is Christy, and today I'm going to show you how to make a pretty cool size inclusive Robin Hood style poncho. So if you have a 6mm hook and some yarn, let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to start here I'm going to just use a basic color for the start here. Because I needed the other one obviously to make the poncho. So I've got my 6mm, which is so weird. I'm used to my 4mm, so anything bigger or smaller feels like I'm cheating on my hook. So here is the two triangle pieces. They are essentially just big ass bandana pieces. It's like you're making two big bandanas. And this is the start of it here. It's all basic stitching and all that. And then it goes into the granny square. Mine's made a little bit smaller. My first one I made is for my husband, so his is bigger. Even those first rows, I ended up making mine, I think it's only one row shorter, but it made a little bit of a difference. I'll be wearing this one, so just make sure that you actually, first of all, before you make these pieces, make sure that you actually measure yourself from shoulder to shoulder across the front of your chest or back, just to the middle of your arm, and then that'll give you a good measurement for your bandana pieces. And again, it's shoulder to shoulder across your chest, or get someone to do it across your back, and you're just going to the middle of your arm. You want to just make those two pieces the size of basically the front of a shirt, I guess. So right now I just did a chain of 5, rambling. Join it at the end with a slip stitch, and then we're going to do 6 half double crochet into the circle. Again, that's a chain of 5, and then joined at the end with a slip stitch and 6 half double crochet into the circle. Make sure you crochet over that little piece of yarn too, it helps. You can pull the circle tight after. Alright, awesome. Just going to pull that a little bit tighter here. And see, it already is taking its shape as it is. So do a chain, turn your piece, go right into the stitch, and you're going to do a half double crochet. And I mean like I'm going right into the stitch. If you haven't watched any of my tutorials yet, go right into that hole. So 1 half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And now you're going to do 2 half double crochet in the same stitch. We're going to start to form that little tip. Now do a chain. I always feel like my hands are going off camera when they're not. Go in the next stitch, do 2 more half double crochet. And then we finish with 1 half double crochet in the next two stitches. And I would definitely like to thank everybody who watches my videos and has been following my journey so far. I really do appreciate it. If you aren't yet, make sure that you are subscribed and have notifications on my channel. It lets you know when I do post new videos. And of course, follow me anywhere you see me on social media. I'm there in case you need help or anything with the tutorials, or just want to show me your work, or you just want to talk. I'm here for it all. Okay, so I turned my work. Now we're going to go into the stitch again. And then we're going to do 2 half double crochet in the same stitch. And you want to do this until you get to the tip again, and I'll explain how to do that. Also, it does pay to go follow me on my other socials. I'm always doing giveaways or raffles or anything. Just, it's all fun. mostly on my Facebook page because that's the best place to do it, but I'm all over the place, guys. Alright, so we're in the tip here, and you're actually going to go into the top of the stitches here, and you want to do 2 half double crochet right in that little tiny hole. And now do a chain, and you're going to do the same thing. You want to go into the top of the stitch. You basically essentially have a chain looking on your hook at that point, and do 2 more, and then you can go right back into the whole stitch after this. So go right in there, and you can do 2 half double crochet all the way up. And now, just so you know, I'm just going to do 1 row of the next row, but you have to do like 5. Well, if you're making it the size that I'm making it, I'm a bit smaller than my husband, so this part, I made it a bit bigger for him, and it helped make his poncho longer. And I actually did screw up here, guys. I forgot. I even knew I forgot about this. I knew I was going to forget that I messed up here. I always do my voice over after the video's done. So for this part only, I actually end up going in the top stitch for the rest at some point, but for this one, I actually went right into the hole, as you can see here. Still the same thing though, you do 2 half double crochet, do a chain, and then go in the same big hole, and then do the other 2 half double crochets. My bad. I usually remember actually when I screw up. So I can say it before I do it. Alright, so the rest is the same though. We're going to go right into the hole, half double crochet in each stitch. Awesome. Doesn't look like much yet, but it's getting there. Much harder to see too as I go. That's why it's great that it's an easy piece to just explain. Alright, so chain and then turn. And now, guys, we're going to go in the top stitch only for these rows, I believe. Or not yet. No, I think I screwed up here actually. Sorry. See, I remembered this time. So just give me a second, because see, I remembered, huh? I hate when that happens. On a roll and then something like this happens. Okay, so in the top stitch only for these next 5 rows, or 6 if you want to add another one to make it longer, you're going to go in the top stitch only. Preferably, I think you should make it a bit longer if you want. It actually makes it look really nice at the top too. But it still looks cute like this as well with just 5 rows. But on my husband's it is a little bit bigger. And it looks really good on him. So if you need to make one for a man, or if you're making it for yourself, definitely make sure that it's big enough for you as a guy, because he likes space as well in his. Alright, so top stitch only again, guys. Now for this one, looks a little bit weird right now, but we're gonna fix that. So in the top stitch only, 2 half double crochet in the same stitch. And it is in the top stitch this time. And now a chain, and then do 2 in the same stitch again. It'll get in there, I'll promise. It's a little bit of swearing, everything just goes a little bit better. Alright, so 2 in the same stitch here, and then keep going with 1 half double crochet in each stitch, moving forward to the end of this row. And then, like I said, I'm just going to show you the example of how to do these, and then I'll show you the next rows after that. So you'll have to pause the video after this row to finish up the 5 or 6 rows that you need to do. Like I said, this one I only did 5 for my poncho, but like I said, my husband's has 6 of these rows. It's all on your preference here. Turns out great either way. And definitely if you're making it for a kid, you could probably easily also make it with 5 rows, I would say. Alright, so you're going to repeat that same row, chain, turn, and you want to do 1 half double crochet in each stitch like that for 5 or 6 rows. That's on you. On to the next part, guys. Okay, so we're going to start after you've done your few rows here, you're going to start your granny square rows, or granny stitch rows, sorry. So chain 1 and turn. I'll show you how to do these first 2 rows because after this first row, it's a little bit different. So I'm going right into the stitch for these, and you want to do the clusters of 3 just like a granny stitch, and skip a stitch and go right into the stitch, not the top of the stitch. We are going into the stitches now. And again, cluster of 3. If you haven't already, guys, make sure you also like my video, leave a comment even. It helps bump it up for more people to see and watch, and it's really appreciated. And again, make sure that you're subscribed to my channel with notifications on, because when I do post new videos, you definitely want to see them. And I'm going to be hopefully making quite a few more tutorials within the next few weeks. I've got tutorial requests, which are my favorite. If you haven't yet or didn't know, I take tutorial requests. So if it's something I do definitely want to make that I think is going to be popular and everything, or just want to help you, I will, because I love to. And honestly, usually some of my best tutorials have been suggested by you guys, and I really appreciate your help when you do so. And my next tutorial is actually going to be a request, and it's going to be awesome. An easy one, but awesome one. Okay, so for this one, you actually are going to go, you're not skipping a stitch because you have to go in the end here, but you want to go right into the hole now. And you're going to do 2 only. So do 2 half double crochet, a chain, and then do 2 chains, sorry. So chain 2. And then you want to do 2 more in the same hole. So 2 half double crochet, chain 2, 2 in the same after that. And it's looking much more sharper now, kinda. As pointy as it gets. So now go into the other one. You're not skipping a stitch here again, and do another cluster of 3 and continue up the side. So for this row, you're going to keep just skipping normally after this, and then I'll show you what I do at the end of the other row after this row. Now for these rows, because of my size, I only needed, I believe, 13 or 14 rows of granny square stitch. It depends though on how wide you are, like how wide apart your shoulders are. Like my husband's his pieces were 20 inches each. He's a bit wider than I am. So it definitely made a difference. His still fits me though, luckily, so if I want to wear it, I can. It's just a little bit big. All right, so we're in the last one here. Now, not much is different on this next one, just changing up that last stitch when you finish the row. So I'm going to make sure to explain what I do in a second. So I'll just lay this flat a little. Once it's actually made, the pieces are not this curly. And this yarn is honestly a little bit weird. It's like Burnett or something. And even though it's the same company, it's a bit different than the Red Heart Granny Square yarn. It's so soft and beautiful. I love that yarn. I can't even stress that enough. It's colorful, it's soft, and it's nice, and it's got a good thickness to it. It doesn't feel like regular Red Heart yarn. Like it's, I don't know. I guess you have to have it to see and understand. Because even mine is usually not bad quality for being in Canada where I am, but this Granny Square yarn is really nice. So do your chain turn, and we're doing the clusters of 3 again. And like I said, depending on how big you are, you're going to be doing a few of these rows afterward. But you just make sure to watch this part, because you gotta see what I do at the end of this row. It's just a little bit different, and what you'll be doing from here on out until you're done. So again, guys, also, if you aren't following me on my other socials, go check them out. I'm all over the place. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest even. I also have Patreon set up and PayPal for donations. PayPal is actually now linked to my page, and on YouTube I didn't before, but it's linked there in case anyone would like to make a one-time donation, big or small. I don't care if it's even $1. It all actually adds up and is very much appreciated. And then Patreon is set up for tipping the artist. It's it only allows me to set it minimum at $3 a month. So if you do have $3 a month to spare, that is also an option, and is also linked on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook page as well. So you can find both in both places. The links are there. And like I said, anything helps, even if you just want to do a one-time PayPal donation. It's very much appreciated. And I know for myself as an artist, it really does go a long way when you get those pennies and dollars coming in for random stuff, because we always need something. Especially when we have kids too to think of. They eat up my craft money. But that is okay. This yarn's hard to see a little bit. It's like, I actually like the variegated for this reason too. It got me. All right. I'm actually very excited too. I just did a giveaway for a big, huge crochet penis, and it's being sent out to Washington, guys. I almost forgot to mention that. I did a 5K follower appreciation giveaway for my Facebook page, and yeah, someone won my big penis that I made for that. I'm excited to get him mailed out too. But I am going to be doing something different soon. Instead of a giveaway, I was planning a raffle, and that's going to be exciting too. The tickets won't be that expensive. Alright guys, so instead of doing another cluster of 3 here, this is why I needed to show you. You're just actually going to do 1/2 double crochet here. It evens it out in the end, so it's not curling up too much at the top. So again, I did, was it 13 or 14? I believe it was 14 rows, guys, and it'll be different for you, but mine was roughly 14 rows to get it to the size that I needed for my 2 panels, and you need 2 of them. This is what they look like in the end, and see the nice pattern the granny square yarn did at the beginning. It's so awesome. So just keep going, guys, and you need 2 of these panels, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how I started the hood. So it's hard to show this, it's really big, but it is a chain of 40 and then 50 rows to make it the size I needed it. And to actually measure it, I honestly just kept draping it over my head until it touched the other side of my shoulder. But I know that, I don't know if you guys would even understand that. So I did count out the rows, and I got 50 rows to make it an acceptable size hood. And like I said, chain 40, that actually did it to make it a nice size, big size hood. So it's just a long rectangle sewn together at the back. But anyways, this is the chain. It's not 40. I just want to show you what I did. So I am grabbing the chain, did another one, and then I go in the second from the hook in the back bumps only, and you're going to do a half double crochet in each stitch. You could probably even make the hood a little bit, like, I wanted it to go around and fit the neckline pretty well. You could probably even make this a little shorter if you wanted to, but 40 seems to be a good number for this. Alright, so I'm going to chain 1 before I turn my piece. So now you're going to go in the top stitch only for this one. You want to do this for every row. So top stitch only, and you're going to do a half double crochet again in each stitch. So 40 stitches for the chain, and then 50 rows you'll need of this to make it the size that you need. And once you get going, it doesn't seem so long anymore. Awesome. So you're just going to keep going just like that until you have a nice size hood. So right here, I'm picky with how, like, this yarn really made a nice pattern in the hoods, on my husband's too. Unfortunately, the yarn stops at the beginning where I want it. So this is something, if you're gonna use this yarn specifically, then you want to actually sew this over and start it at the back, because I wanted the back to be on the other side. So I am just going to sew. I'm gonna hide the yarn at the bottom of the hood and on the inside, because I want those golden stripes to be at the front of my hood. I'm picky. And they look really good at the front of the hood too. If you do actually check out my other socials, even on here, I've got videos of the other one, and it looks so good. They're both made with the granny square yarn. I'm so excited to use this yarn and show people what else to do with it, honestly, because I'm not into granny squares, but I really like the yarn. It's very pretty. So I just take my needle here because, like I said, I'm picky. I want those gold stripes at the front of my hood. So we're just going to sew this along the bottom. My tail is really long, so it's not affecting that at all either. But if you end up cutting it too short, just tie another piece of yarn on and you can keep sewing. But I'm literally just going to drag it along the bottom here. Alternatively, if you didn't leave this long enough, then you can just tuck in your piece at the front and then just add a piece of yarn at the back. Unless, of course, this doesn't bother you, then you can sew it together on the other side. But when you're picky, you're picky. And this is the way to fix it if you didn't cut the yarn at least too short. And it's really easy to hide it and drag the needle along the edge anyway. Awesome, almost done and ready to sew the hood together. For being such a big project, it honestly doesn't take long. And it's really fun to make these. And they do look really good. All right, awesome. So now, guys, you want to just take the side here. You can fold your hood in half with the rows facing like this. When you're done, those stripes will be facing towards your face. This is the back of the hood here. Well, my back of the hood. If you guys are not as nuts as I am and have to fix that part, yours will be on the other side. I'm just going to join them at the bottom. And as you can see, I got them all lined up. It's easy to line up the rows. And it looks really cool like this. I really like how this yarn turned out in the pattern. Variegated yarn always has its own mind. And I'm here for it. So like I said, you just fold this in half like this. Your rows should be facing outward like that to you. Make sure that you do have it on whatever side you figure is the outside that you want it to be on as well. I'm gonna turn my hood inside out to where I want it to be. I have a knot on the one side, so I want it to be in the inside of my hood. Particularly though with this one, it doesn't really matter. Just the way the stripes are going matters to me. Okay, so I'm at the bottom of the hood. And I'm going to do 2 rows. I'm going to go up and then down. I like to make sure my stuff is really secure. So going in the bottom, all the base, yeah, we're going right on the edge of the stitches here. You want to just grab the last couple stitches on, well, not last couple stitches. You want to go on top of the work along the edge and just sew close enough together and just keep going like this. And then, like I said, I'm gonna actually go over it again after. I'll just show you how to start, and look at the rows are just lining up. It's nice and easy. And it gives it a cute little point at the back. If you want to get rid of the point at all, if that bugs you, just turn the little pointy part inside of the hood and sew it inward a bit so that it's round. But if you want the pointy look, just leave it like this, because when you go to turn the hood to the right side, it'll do its own thing. And what kind of makes it more of a true Robin Hood hood, or any kind of, you know, assassin. So guys, I'm done that first part. Now you want to sew again and go from top to bottom back to the bottom of the hood, okay, before you turn it inside out. So just take your thread and go over it one more time, same thing, and then you can fasten it off after. All right, so that is done. So I'm just going to turn the hood to the right side. And the stripes are matching up pretty nicely here at the back. And no seam or anything. Awesome. Alright, so now I gotta show you how to sew your two triangles together. So, like, you want enough room for that hood to sew it on as well. Don't worry, I'm gonna fix the camera here. There we go. It's so big. Right up close and personal. Anyways, match these up. It's really easy to match them up because those triangles in the middle and the stitches and all that, they all line right up. See, I've got this side already sewn together over probably about 4 rows of granny square rows or granny stitch rows, and I went on the inside of the poncho to sew. So see, I just, in order to line them up initially, you can start from the middle and then just make sure all stitches are lining up. You can put stitch markers if you need to, but you don't really have to. So now just do what I did for the hood. You're going to sew over here. And after we sew these together, I'm going to show you how to do the other rows. Alright, so they are nice here, lined up. So I just cut a piece of yarn to sew on here, since there's not really, I don't have anything attached on this side. Essentially on the one end of the triangles, there's a piece of yarn you can just leave a little bit longer, but for the one side you'll probably have to cut some. So on the inside of the hood, we're doing this, or on the inside of the triangles, we're doing the same thing as I did on the hood. And like I said, I did stitches for like maybe the first 4 rows here. Leave that long enough, but not too long. You're gonna have to pull it tight eventually. Just at first, you don't pull it through. It takes a couple stitches and then it'll be a bit tighter. There we go. I'm so excited to get this posted. I had to stop making my pants which was going to be a tutorial as well, but everyone seems to really like my hood, so I had to stop what I was doing to make another one. But I do have plans for this one. As you can see, it gives me and my husband some medieval type vibes, you know, so we're going to be doing some fun stuff with this poncho. I'm waiting for his yarn to come in actually, so I can make him one to not match, but to go with what we're doing. So there's going to be some fun videos coming up with these for promotional videos. It's going to be awesome. Again, guys, if you're not subscribed or notifications turned on, make sure you are. Okay, just do it. And if you want to like the video at any point in time while you're watching it, that really helps too, and I really appreciate it. It just keeps bumping my video up and up and up each time someone watches it or likes it, comments, so it all truly is appreciated. So now I've got it long enough. You can even compare it if you already have the other side done. Make sure you compare them if you need to. And I'm going to keep going like this until it's done. I'm going to do the same thing like I said and just go over it, okay guys? Alright, so now we're done doing that, making it nice and secure. It looks good from the other side. The stitches are looking good. It's nice and together. So now what you want to do, this is what I'll be doing for all of them too, is just tucking in the little yarn piece. As you can see, I did one already. Go on the inside only of the stitches, like barely. You don't even have to go in the full stitch, and just make sure that you secure your work. I'm gonna go up and down with the thread, or with the yarn I mean, and make sure it's weaved in. Preferably if it's the same color, try and match it up and go. I got lucky with some parts where the variegated yarn matches the same color nearby, so I can tuck it in to the same color, and it works out a lot better. So we got that done. Now we can start doing the trim around the two triangles. And again, this part will be depending on how big you want the poncho. Like some people literally would probably even just leave it like this and do a tiny trim. If you want it smaller, that's also an option. So if you were to do that, you could probably just add a couple rows of trim. But I'm making it big enough. It's going to be very similar to the first one that I made. You can go with it however you'd like. With my husband's, because of the colors in his, I ended up doing black with purple trim. So I did like a couple rows of like black or something, and then I used like 2 shades of purple and did a nice striping along the edge of it. If you do want to see that one, please make sure that you check it out. It's on my Facebook, and there is some videos of it on Instagram, TikTok, and on here too even. I'm modeling it, not him though, so just that's the only difference. Alright, so I have attached my yarn over here. This is the granny square yarn that I'm attaching, just so everybody knows. And then wrap the yarn around twice to start your row. And then you're just going to go in the top of the stitches again, like you were doing with the main part, or the little triangle I mean. And yeah, we're going to do that all the way around. So you want to just find the 2 top stitches, or what look like the top stitches on the edge. It's a little harder to do, but it's still doable. And you want to do a half double crochet in each stitch. Make sure you're going close enough together so you have no gaps in between. You don't want that. So I'm going to actually do 4 rows of this color right now, On my husband's, I actually only did 3, but that's because I did more of the other solid colors. But for this one, I did 4 rows of the granny square yarn around the edge, and I just went into the top of the stitch only for each row, not right into the whole stitch like I showed you guys. So the trim will all be top stitch only and in half double crochet. And like I said, I did 4 rows the same of this one, but I'm going to show you how to do the tip in 1 second here. That's important, so I'll go to there. Alright guys, so we're down to the tip of the triangle. So we're almost into this is where you want to do 2 in the same stitch. Your other stitch should be in the last cluster, and then do 2 in the same stitch right there, almost in the corner but not quite. Chain 2, and then you want to do the same thing. You want to do 2 in the same stitch right here. And again, you're going to do 4 rows the same with the same color here. You know, keep going all the way to the beginning. You got 1 more corner to do after this. Do it the exact same as this one. Not corner, point. You know what I mean. So just keep going to the beginning of the row, and like I said, I did 4 rows of this color. Alright, so we're at the end of that row, guys. I just want to show you how to join it. You'll be joining all the rows the same. So just join it like this. You're going to slip stitch, do a chain. Now this first stitch is a bit weird. The rest you're going to go right into the top of the stitch, not into the hole. But just don't mind that first stitch if it's like that. Now I'm going to go into the top of the stitch. And you, like I said, you want to do this for the next 4 rows that are going to be the exact same. Well, the next 3 are going to be the same as your first row. Don't forget to do these the way that I did them. If you need to, go back and check how I did it, but just make sure you do it all the same. Alright, so we are done those 4 rows, and now I'm going to start some solid color after all that. I'm going to show you a little bit though. This yarn is very pretty. I can't wait. I ordered more. I have 3 colors of it already, and I ordered 2 more because we finally got it here where I could get it in Canada. You guys in the States are lucky. I've been waiting forever for this yarn. My Walmart did not get it in at all, and Amazon saved my life. They're the true MVPs of this. I do applaud them for getting all of the colors in too. And most of them 1-day shipping. So thank you, Amazon. You saved my life. This yarn is very nice to work with. Okay, so I've attached my black. I did a chain, and now again you want to go in the top stitch only, and I did 3 rows of black only. And you want to do the tips the same, like the exact same. They're the same rows, just different color. So again, top stitch only, and half double crochet all the way around, and make sure you do those tips. Okay guys, so here I switched to red for 2 rows only, and then 3 rows of black right after that. So same thing, top stitch only, make sure you do your tips proper. Alright, so we have those nice solid colors on there for the trim, and I'm not doing fringe on mine, so I added this cool row. It's triple crochet, but you're skipping a stitch, and it looks really good anyway. I'm going to show you how to do it up to the tip, and then show you how I do the first tip, because it's a little bit different than the other rows. So there we go. I got a triple crochet in there, did a chain, now skip a stitch, and these are going to be in the top stitch only again, okay? So skip a stitch, and then you're going to do triple crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, and then go in the top stitch only, and do another triple crochet. So repeat this till you get to that first point of the triangle, and then I will be coming back to tell you how to do that. So it is a little bit different. So again, we are doing triple crochet here. You're doing one, skipping a stitch, and chaining one. Awesome job so far, guys. I'll meet you at the tip again. Alright, so I'm at the tip of this. It makes it a little bit awkward because of how it is, but don't worry. I kind of know what I'm doing. So chain one, skip a stitch, and you're going into the corner, or tip I mean, with one triple crochet. You don't have to do more than one, but you're going to do a chain of 4 now instead of 2 to make up for the room. And then you go right into the other one right there where you'd normally do 2 and just do one more triple crochet. Awesome. So that is done. Now keep going until you're at the end of the row with chain 1 now, and then just going to do a triple crochet into the top of the stitch. And make sure you do the same thing for the other end. Just remember there's 4 chains now instead of 2 in between the 2 of them. Awesome. Alright, so we're going to join this row, which is a little bit different as well. So I'm at the end of the row, and I did a chain. I'm skipping the 1 stitch at the end. You'll be able to. And then just go into the beginning one at the top of it. My hook's being stupid, so just bear with me. I don't know why. It just didn't want to stay in, and it was really frustrating. I can tell you that much. I really remember that part. Alright. So just a little slip stitch there, and we're done that. So now you can continue with the same yarn. I went and cut it thinking I changed colors, but yeah, we won't talk about it. So I just did a chain, and now we're going to do another row of half double crochet along just to finish it off. So you want to go in the top stitches only and do a half double crochet in each stitch. It's the same as the other rows for the end for this one here. But I think I actually come back in to show you guys again because it's a little bit different. But if not, I'm just gonna say that it is 2, chain 2, and then 2 all in the end, just in case, but I'm pretty sure I come back in to show you. Yes. Okay, so for this part, it's going to be, you want to do a chain, or you're going to go into the hole, or sorry, into the chain, not hole, or chain, my god. You want to do 2 half double crochet into the same stitch. There we go. So then you want to do 2 chains, and you want to go over, and I did fuck up here, I remember now too. I am not over quite enough, which I'll show you in a second, actually. I didn't notice though until I was actually done doing that, or almost done doing the stitch. It's not over far enough. Sometimes it's not noticeable though until after you do it, so luckily it was an easy fix. And again, guys, thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm excited to get my channel going. I'm already monetized on Facebook now, but I gotta get this channel monetized too. And I am aiming for it. So yeah, this is definitely wrong. You have to do one more. I'm just going to fix it up here. I did one half double crochet where I did two. I left one. It's needed there. And now you can do two in the same stitch right here. Brings it closer to the middle. And it won't look so awkward. Also, if you would like to do a donation either one time or through PayPal, please make sure to check out my links. They're both on my YouTube channel, linked with all my other socials, and same with on Facebook. And it's really appreciated, no matter how much it is. Alright, so chain 2. And then we're going into this next stitch here. It can be annoying to work into a chain, but it's doable. It's okay. It's not that tight, but you know, I could have probably made it a little looser, but I didn't. Alright, so now we can actually move on here after this. Awesome. So just keep going with that. You want to do one in each of the top stitches until you get to the beginning of the row. Make sure you do the other end the exact same too. If it looks funny, it's probably because you just didn't do it right in that little chain like I did, so just make sure to fix it if it looks off to you, because they're two in the same stitches, should be closer to the point, just like mine is here. Awesome. Almost done, guys. And looking good. I'll meet you at the beginning of the row. Alright, so now we're gonna show you how to sew the hood on. Hopefully, this is pretty self-explanatory. It's just such a big piece, it's hard to show everything, but I got all the main important parts in the video. That's important. So I lined this up with the middle of the triangles, so it made it really easy. These pieces of yarn need to be tucked in though, and I'm gonna grab another piece to sew the hood on. I'm just gonna cut that one a little bit because it's the one I sewed the hood together with. And they're gonna get tucked into the hood after, on the inside or whatever. But if you want to leave them for now even as well, just to kind of help line everything up, that's what I'm doing. Like, you can do it with just the stitches and that, but you can always leave that on too, and it's right there. I also, decided to do most of my ends at the end anyway, so just make sure your hood is lined up though. I have it so, like I said, the back is lined up with that seam, and then the front of the hood, when it flaps over, it should line up with your, make sure you line it up with this triangle part, and you're going from the triangle right about there to there. I think I just put it on the, I end up just putting it on the burgundy looking red. See, those are gonna be, that's gonna be the front of your hood, where your front is. so you can get some yarn and your needle. Line up your hood. I'm gonna sew on the inside too, so but make sure you can also add your hood on with some stitch markers if you feel more comfortable so it's placed, but I'm not one to place anything with stitch markers or pins, so I use my hands. So right here, we're going to start on that burgundy looking red, and I'm turning it inside out. You want to have the hood go from the beginning at the front of your poncho all the way around the back. So this is the front of the poncho. See, there's only from there to there. That's your shoulder, where my other thumb is. And this is the front piece. I'm starting on this row. It matches up really nice. And again, we're sewing into the tops of the stitches. And yes, I'm gonna go over it twice. So start carefully, just have it lined up. I know it can be annoying and intimidating to sew shit on, but it works out pretty nicely actually. And again, this is the center, from the center to the shoulder on the front piece. And you want to leave that little piece of yarn dangling. Don't let it go all the way through. So I'll show you how to start this, and I'll come back in actually at the middle, I believe, to kind of show the progress of what it kind of looks like before the hood is all the way on. Just to make sure you're also doing it right. I'd hate for that. But it isn't that bad. It's like you gotta just get the hood on to see what it looks like. And again, this is the beginning, this is the front, of the poncho. And I'm working on the inside of the stitches. So nothing is shown on the outside of the piece. And it did line up really nice with everything. So I'm going to sew all the way to the shoulder part where I sewed before. That's where the first corner meets. And then after that it starts looping to the back of the poncho. And it literally just sews all the way around the top of the poncho. So you go all the way around there, and this is the back. So I'm going to sew all the way up to the middle to show you guys. Okay, so this is the little piece. This is from the shoulder part and back part. See how it's lined up with the middle and the back of the hood? On the inside of it, of course. Don't sew your pieces inside out like that. That would just look horrible. So that is sewn from the beginning to there. Now I got to go from the back. We're going to finish the back here and then onto the front where I started, from there to there. You got this. Alright, so see, we've got the hood sewn on. It's a little easier to show you. See, they're lined up with the front, and it's sewn onto the front and the back fully, just in one big loop. Now the fun part, guys, we're going to go over it again. Make sure that you're nice and tight. You're going to go all the way on the inside and go over it again. Okay, guys. Awesome job. We got the hood right on there now. So before we start sewing shit up, we want to put, well, at least I want to put a little edge of black on it. I like borders, so that's what's happening right now. If you don't want to put a border on it, that's cool. It's done. You can sew things up, I guess, but I do recommend putting a border, even if it's the same color yarn that you used for the poncho itself. It will look a lot better because you want to make the edges and, well, those little corners, they all blend in after with a nice little trim. So I'm going to attach the yarn. I'm using black for the trim. So I just chose one of the little pieces that are there. I'm so excited to get this on there, guys. And like I said, if you do have any tutorial requests, please let me know. I'll do my best to make it happen. This one was just so much fun to make, and I'm excited to get it posted, like I said. My husband really loves his hood. He wears it quite a bit, and it's summertime. Like, it's actually really, surprisingly, for acrylic yarn, it's not that bad to wear them outside if it's like cool enough, especially if you're out at night doing anything. It's actually really cozy. Even my hoodie, I wore it the other day because it was cool enough at night, and my acrylic hoodie, it was actually not that as warm as I thought. Okay, so I attached the yarn. I yarned over twice, and I did a half double crochet where the corners kind of meet. I don't know if you can see that, but it's where the hood and the poncho meet. You want a half double crochet right in there. It'll help make things look a lot more even. So for this part, I'm going to just do single crochet for the front. But along the hood, we're going to do a half double crochet. But I'm going to do a row of single crochet right now. I'm just getting past this little piece of yarn and stuff. Awesome. And someone has asked me to make more smoking buddies, so those are going to be actually coming up soon too. I got to think of some more to make. But I do have a tutorial request to do next, which is awesome. So right now, like I said, we're going along the top, and we're just going to keep going with single crochet. And then I'll show you how to start going up the side of the hood. So just a few stitches here. It's not that bad. And I chose to do single crochet there because it's just so like you don't have, like, it doesn't really go in your face anyway, but I don't know, it looks better, I find. I guess it's just preference. You could even do a row of half double crochet here probably. Just make sure again that your stitches are close enough together. If it's not, just don't be afraid to pull it out and actually put it in the right spot. You want it to look good. Awesome. And don't forget, guys, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel with notifications on. I can't stress that enough. And if you need me, follow me on any platform that you're on. I'm not limited because I know that you guys are not on every platform either. And as an artist, I know this and see this. So if you have questions for me at all, or just need to talk, I'm there, like I said. And I just like to be available for you guys because sometimes I get fun pictures or videos too of your items that you've made from my tutorial, and that just warms my heart. Or even just a comment saying that you guys did my work and were able to do it, that really, really brightens our day. Okay, so I did that weird corner part where I did a half double crochet to make it, well, to put it into the corner part, I guess you can say. Now I'm on the side of the hood, and all the way up you want to do half double crochet from here on out. And again, you're just in the side of the stitches here. Just take your time and make sure that you go close enough together. You don't want any gaps in your edge. And I'm just going along up the top and all the way around, back around with half double crochet. So I'll meet you guys at the end of this row to show you how to fasten it off and to zoom out a little bit to show you the piece. So we're almost done. Awesome. Just keep going up along the side of the hood. Alright guys, almost done here. It's so exciting. I still can't believe how quick these whip up either. I love it. If you'd sell, it's definitely a good piece to try and sell, because honestly someone wanted to buy my husband's the other day almost as soon as I posted it. It's not my intention, so if you are looking to sell though and want to, like, I definitely recommend these pieces to sell. I really do. And I'd go at least, well, the yarn wasn't that much and it didn't take long, so I would at least charge 120 to 150, I would say. If you want to try and go higher, I don't discourage it. I'm not like that. I think I would at least charge 150 though, because they're nice sized and very cozy. Definitely worth the money. But I think the lowest I would go is 120. Just for the fact too that this yarn is different. Like I said, it took like basically a year just for me to get this yarn here in Canada, like on a reasonable website. I needed it to be on Amazon or Walmart, or else I wasn't getting it. And finally we got it. And the Walmart website really sucks for it here in Canada. I tried because my store doesn't seem to want to get this yarn in, and they have like one color and it's not one of the nicer colors, so I'm very happy that Amazon pulled through, and very happy to spread that word too. So if you're looking to get granny square yarn and you're in Canada and have a hard time finding it, go on Amazon. They have it. And for the most part, if you have Prime, you can one day, almost all of them. I've got 2 more coming, like I said, and I've got 3 of these colors already. Look how pretty this is. So this is the finished poncho, guys. Let's kind of spread it out as much as I can. I cannot wait to make some content with this. Awesome.